Belts 101. Everything, well, maybe not, that you need to know about belts. And to start, why do you even need one? We'll jump into that. We're also gonna cover timing, tightness, how tight should it be, and all the different types of belts. Do not be intimidated by putting one of these on. And no, this will not solve all of your problems. A belt should be a cue and a supportive mechanism to increase your performance. There is a difference between active tightness and passive tightness. Stay tuned for more. Why start wearing a weight belt? Your friends might tell you a different reason than we are here today. Wearing a weight belt will not solve all your problems in the gym. I'm sorry. Neither will wearing the sweatsuit when you're walking miles and miles on the treadmill. It's not gonna burn all of your fat. Learning to optimize your body's natural weight belt, provide better posture for your body, and optimize your performance by putting on a weight belt, that can happen. Let's tell you how. So remember, our weight belt is a supportive and cueing mechanism. It's not an end-all be-all, and it won't move the weight for you by itself. Our belt should provide some passive resistance to what we're gonna create as intra-abdominal pressure. Let me say that again. It should be passive. This structure here looks very similar to my natural weight belt, the structure of my abs. It's here to enhance that. Too many people crank this bad boy down, and now it is the active resistance. It is supporting me more than I'm supporting myself. And though it might feel pretty good on your low back, feel supported right now, it's actually going to decrease performance and it's not optimal. A lot of times when we put a belt on too tight, it's an artificial sense of support and safety. It doesn't allow our body to utilize what we have well with or without the belt. It also leads to arched low back and passive breathing up into our secondary respiratory muscles, not where we want it to be. So the main reason you want to strap on that belt, regardless of type, is to give you extra performance and cue you on maintaining your posture and utilizing your core better. One of the most common questions we get coaching beginners to top athletes all across the world in multiple sports is, when do you put this on? A lot of people will say you need to train beltless, but studies have proven that's not necessarily the case. If you're using this not too tight, you will actually optimize and recruit more core musculature by wearing a weight belt. Now, yes, there's some times you might pick up the sandbag or something else without a belt. At home in the backyard, you may not have a belt to strap on before you move a heavy rock or some landscaping, etc. So of course, there is a time to train beltless, but if you want optimal performance in the gym, strap on the belt. We'll talk about different types here shortly. When it comes to warm-ups, magic rule of thumb for athletes across the board is 50% of that day's load. A lot of people might think that's too early. I'm gonna say that again, 50% of that day's load. If I'm working up to a 225 squat, somewhere in the low 100s, my belt is going on. Now, I might squat way more than 225, but if that's the day's workload, the suggestion is 50% of that day's load. You've probably already done some hip mobility drills and some warm-up and maybe even some body squats. So your body is primed. Now you need to prime it with the tool you're gonna perform with. Tightness. How tight is too tight? Well, that may change the better skill acquisition you get with your belt. Regardless of type, whether it's a larger, stiff belt like this one or a soft belt, I should be able to slip at least a couple fingers, if not my whole hand, into the belt, in the front, in the side, and in the back. The kicker is, once I do so, and I create pressure, then finish that pressure with air, I should not be able to easily remove my hand. If you're working with your training partner or coach, coaching your athletes is a great test you can do into the belt. The problem with too tight is it provides a lot of resistance and doesn't allow us to breathe naturally into our rib cage. It's passive resistance, but it doesn't allow us to actively use our natural weight belt or our core well. It's gonna lead to an arch in our low back and most of our breathing up into our rib cage, which changes spinal alignment, as you can see, not allowing for full, deep breaths. Actually, believe it or not, err on the side of a little looser than a little tighter, and you will perform better. So lastly, let's talk about belts. No, we don't have every belt type here. You might be looking at an inexpensive belt that you found at Goodwill with a big back, some padding in it, and a small front piece. More of a bodybuilding style belt that's smaller. They even have some powerlifting belts that are very narrow that are built for an optimized bench press shirt. So again, there's a lot of different belts out there. Comparing to here, a stiffer belt versus a softer belt. For most of the workouts you're gonna be doing and teaching yourself to get good at a belt, this is where you wanna start. It's more comfortable, right? It doesn't have the hard edge. So if I'm doing something like clean and jerk and I get rounded over in my clean and I drop the bar from my receiving position, this may not be so comfortable, where this is gonna have a lot more give. For beginners or people learning to get comfortable with a belt, this is a better place to start. Once you've mastered this and your squat and your deadlift and your overhead press start to go up, we might find a little more support with a rigid belt like this. So we'll purchase one of these, strap it on. It's also great for carries and all of our static strength work. Regardless of what belt type you choose, if you're not used to using a belt, remember it's here to support you. We want it to assist your body naturally, not take away all of your activity by choking you too tight. So our magic rule of thumb, a little looser is better than too tight. And shortly after warm-ups, when you're about 50% of that day's load, try putting on your belt and see if your performance doesn't skyrocket.